Okay, hello and welcome back to our Dalish Inquisition No Death Ruleset playthrough, brought to you by William Ellison, Brother Lusarius and GameAnyone.com. Okay, today we start with talking, a lot of talking it seems. Then we move on to companion quests and hopefully by the end we should be dealing with the royalty of Orle. And cracking their heads. I really wish I can. Fucking bastards. They have beast on us Dalish far too long. Okay, let me do something now that I see. Battle Mage armor. So it has 7 constitution base, that's it. And 7 melee and 7 ranged, okay. It again says that. Nine base attributes. Well, isn't that interesting? Six willpower and 3 magic. But extra focus, that's not great. Why is that even in consideration? I have no idea, to be honest. 6 cunning, okay. That I can understand. This has 7 cunning. And this has 4 willpower against unsigned magic defense against 2 cunning. Nah. And 14 cunning against 6 cunning. Yeah, okay, so these 2 armors get sold. Seven magic defense and 11 range defense. 7 magic defense, that's the only thing this has. So this armor is a piece of shit. Alright, let's take a good look at all this. I have 7 constitution against 9 and hit gain 3 guard. Well, can tell you that is better than focus. Okay, let's leave that to Lilith. I'm sure one of these guys will definitely get an improvement. 6 willpower. 6 willpower and 3 magic. An extra focus. Definitely better. What upgrades does Lilith have? 14 willpower and 14 willpower. Ah shit, I'm looking at the wrong guy. It's true, I'm using Solus now. So that's why I need to check first. Has 14 base magic, it seems. No. Has 14 base willpower. Hello, Pancho, how are you? No, what the hell does it have then? 25 willpower? Impossible. 11 willpower, yeah, I suspect as much. Extra focus, magic defense. For 2 willpower. He looks like an idiot. Hello, Jyoti, how are you? He looks like a fucking idiot. Yeah, the bear or wolf pelt really goes really goes better. That is ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, let's leave him with that and give this to Dorian. All right. Yeah. Well, thankfully we're almost done with this. I can assure you. Right, now sell everything and we can talk to people. Great. No, I think Barrick wants to talk to me. I believe that was the case. It was Barrick and whom else? No one else. And then we select a side quest. And a judgment, actually. Yes, a judgment. Let's do that right now. Let's bring the justice of Andraste upon our enemies.
Before you is Service of the Minratha's Circle of Magi. You met him and his Venatori in the Western Approach. He admits to working for Corypheus, raising monsters, and using magic for conquest. He also used his connections to smuggle magical artifacts out of the Approach, without his master's consent.
Aha! So this guy is not completely committed to Corypheus, is he, huh? Okay, you know what? I am impressed. He's showing some backbone.
You stole from Corypheus. I don't know whether that's stupidly brave or bravely stupid.
I was hired by a third party. I've no loyalty to him. Might you find that useful, your worship?
I'm sorry, are you attempting to bargain with us?
Bargain? I plead. I throw myself on your mercy. I also have friends in Tevinter who owe me large debts. Leave what happened in the Approach behind us, Inquisitor, and I can put them all at your disposal.
He's trying to bribe me. You know what? I'm going with this option. Just because it's a special option. And obviously my character could see the benefits. I do as well. That guy could be useful. And I cannot make him tranquil. Giving him back to Corypheus, Corypheus will break his ass. And I will lose an asset. This seems not to be up his alley. He's only interested in money. Yeah, we're sold. Exactly, Pancho.
Someone who can smuggle magical artifacts to Tevinter and back shouldn't be wasted on court diplomacy. Bring those artifacts back to the Inquisition. Procure something really useful, and we might loosen the shackles.
Your worship knows value when she sees it. I won't disappoint.
He goes so happy. Fucking Cassandra and Cole disapproved. I don't know who else. I don't really care at this point. If they are going to stand against me, I will kill them all.
I appreciate the warning, but you shouldn't have come yourself. What if the guild found out, or what's his name?
Are you worrying for me or for yourself?
A little of column A, a little of column B. I am the expendable one, after all.
Oh, don't worry, I'll protect you. We'll just have to... Well, this is a surprise. You're the Inquisitor, right?
Ha!
Bianca Davry, at your service.
Holy shit. The one that never got to know Barrick intimately. Holy fuck.
Your name is Bianca.
It's a common name. Half the girls in the Merchants Guild are named Bianca. The other half are named Helga. I lucked out.
Yeah, this cannot be a coincidence.
I take it you're a friend of Varric's.
Who isn't a friend of Varric's? You have met him before, right?
Any friend of Varric's is welcome here.
Be careful saying things like that. Some of his friends you don't want to meet. Oh, maybe you do. Who am I to judge?
Bianca's got a lead on where Corypheus got his red lyrium.
The site of Bartrand's Folly, the tag Varric found, has been leaked. There's a Deep Roads entrance crawling with strange humans carting out red lyrium by the handful.
Ah, fuck.
Who could have given away the Tig's location?
There were a few people who knew. Hirelings from the expedition, a couple of close friends.
How they found out isn't important. What matters is we know where they are now.
Very true. Well, not really, because we cannot trust any of the people that went into expedition other than Varric. And Hawk, but Hawk is gone.
If it's such a secret, how do you know about it, Bianca?
I told her. Right after the expedition, I wrote and told Bianca what we found. I had artifacts that needed buyers, and she had more contacts that would pay for them. Plus, I owed her.
Okay.
You can get there from Orlais. It's a long way to the free marches.
Ship.
The deep roads are all connected. Or they used to be. Collapses and such. Some of them on purpose.
They really are roads. They spanned the Dwarven Empire, went to every corner of the continent, maybe further. In theory, you can get to any Tig using the deep roads, but in practice, there's a reason nobody uses them anymore.
How do we know they're not using multiple entrances to get to the Tig?
Navigating the deep roads isn't like the surface. There's no accurate maps of the whole system, and there are cave-ins, darkspawn, lava floods. If you find a route that gets where you're going, you don't deviate. Trying to find another way could be deadly.
We need to deal with this. As long as he has this source, Corypheus is that much more powerful.
I couldn't agree more.
I'll keep an eye on their operation. If you're interested in shutting it down, you've got my help. Try not to leave me waiting too long, Varric. I've got my own work to do, you know.
She seems like a redhead to me.
That's not going to be trouble at all. Let me know when you want to head to the entrance.
Shit, I'm going to use Varric for that, aren't I? Okay, let's go and send more people on missions. Enter Balamar. Really? It did seem like they were underusing Balamar. Inquisitor, Sister Liliana's advice was excellent. Her scouts located the mining operation Marquis Buffon had started in secret, which must have freed the Darkspawn from beneath the earth. Aha. When discovered, the Marquis sent mercenaries to attack, but the Grey Wardens were well prepared and easily cut down all resistance. Marquis Buffon has fled into the Gamordan Peaks. Grey Wardens have taken losses, but their morale remains high. Their loyalty to Inquisition is undisputed. Yeah, I'm going to pursue his ass. Definitely. The Chargers did what they could do to tear down the walls. Demons in the area didn't seem to appreciate the effort, but my men escaped with significant losses. No one will be using Aman Fortress again. Inquisitor, it's nothing more than a pile of rubble now. Lieutenant Cremisius Aclassi. Right. The presence of Inquisition forces in the Codens of Magi provoked an angry response from Duke Sandral. I'm told this led to a standoff where the Duke's forces threatened to attack, and it was our agent at the college who talked the man down. Corbin displayed a level head and sound judgment. Both things... What? Both things I would normally never ascribe to a Dwarven warrior. The mobs backed off, and Corbin sent us artifacts he believes the Venatori could have been after. Great. This is... yeah. Alright, let's do this first. Ambassador Montilier, I've been considering your last letter, as I do owe you an debt of gratitude for handling the Cumberland incident. I think I found something that may solve your mystery. I have an acquaintance in Minrathos who has a brother in the Circle's College of Antiquities. A few favors, and he may be able to translate your ancient text, but I should warn you, they are likely to be costly favors. Still, this may be your most promising venue. Yours sincerely, Baron Maxwell Van Serant. A favor for a friend of a friend can get the manuscript translated by an expert. Sure thing, why not? Esteemed Ambassador, enclosed you will find a completed translation of your fascinating manuscript, which our scholars estimate to predate the First Blight. The elite cast quite a steer in historical linguistics. The College of Antiquities would be most interested in further cooperation with the Inquisition, should you uncover more Thevin documents from the pre-Blight era. Cordially, Anaximander Betri, Dean of Antiquities, Minrathus Circle. No thanks. Pursue Marquis Buffon. Yeah, let's get that guy. With her treachery revealed, Marquis Ephiloque Buffon has fled into the mountains. Our initial efforts to pursue her have been hampered by both the terrain and the presence of demons in the area. While we have had difficulty making headway, the Grey Wardens have offered to assist. They seem to be the only force in the area capable of doing so. Regardless, I believe it is worth pursuing Marquis Buffon if we have the means to do so. Yours, Lieutenant Suzanne Clock-Sec. Our concern is the Marquise, not the demons. My people can find a way to her. I agree. Marquis Buffon may have enemies among the nobles in the area. Some of them may have information on safe passages through the mountains. The Grey Wardens will do better against demons than normal Inquisition soldiers. Let them fight through the mountains. Nah, that's St. Josephine.
At your service.
I agree, I don't care about the demons. There will be demons everywhere. As long as I haven't closed all the rifts. Let's select this. According to Dorian, it might be possible to discover who Corypheus once was. Knowing he was a human could make him less attractive to the Intercelots, who think him as a god. Acquiring this information, however, is more difficult than one might suppose. Such ancient information could be found in the Magisterium's library at Minrathus, but the Grand Archivist has so far replied to our message with polite misdirection. Dorian says he is the king of this particular castle and knows it. He might be blocking our efforts out of allegiance to Corypheus or simply because he can. Bribe the man with gifts and favors. This is normal for the winter and what he expects. Go around him. I can send an agent to infiltrate the archive and find what we need. Men like this respond to one thing, threats. He knows who you are and doesn't want to be your enemy. You know what? Yeah, let's threaten the intermage.
To work?
Dwarven slaves in Venatory hands. Let's take that one. A report from one of Colin's forward scouts. Sightings in the north of Red Templars with armor and weapons adorned with Dwarven ruins. There are no known entrances to the deep roads in the area, and no missives from Orzammar about missing traders, but they keep next to non-existent records of surface dwarves. The Venatory may be making use of dwarf slaves, possibly from the Inter. Not their usual preference, but also not the first unusual thing they have done. Recommend further investigation in force. The local landholders will get our scouts access, but will require additional incentive to risk their forces against the Venatori. Send a select group to observe. We don't want to alarm the Venatori. We know they are all too willing to sacrifice their captives. If there is a hint of Venatori enclave, especially when supplying weapons, we need to crush it. Let's send Eliana. Doesn't really matter.
Inquisitor.
That's it. Okay, great. Let's see if I have a mission here in the Skyhold. And hello, you are or Ur. Let's call you Ur. Well, yeah, I agree with you. It would be nice to go extreme hardcore and the way Baldur's Gate, I think, and what other game was it? The Neverwinter Nights, maybe, where I think in the Baldur's Gate I remember if a party member dies, he's gone. If HP reaches 0, I think the only way is to revive them with spells. Other than that, and I congratulate you on getting to level 6. Iron Bull and Black Wool. Okay, let's talk to those two guys. I hope you are very successful in your run. The Knight Enchanter. What do you think, Knight Enchanter, is not fair? I am a Knight Enchanter, and I can tell you, it's, at least the way I play, it's nothing particularly overpowered, other than this focus ability. Knight Enchanter is, I would say, even worse than the other two. It is the focus ability that sets it apart, but it's extremely useful for another rule set. I can tell you that much. Okay, let's talk to Iron Bull first.
Inquisitor?
I wanted to talk about you, if that's all right.
You know, I'm from Tevinter. Wasn't a slave, but even citizens have it rough if they're not mages. I was a soldier, but women joined the ranks under a different program. When they found out I was passing, it got ugly. I ran, met Bull near the border, and ended up here. Not a life I'd wish on everyone, but it'll do.
This is a good question.
Why did you decide to live as a man?
I didn't decide anything. I've been like this my whole life. My parents wanted me to marry up. They tried to find me a nice merchant's son. Every day, put on a dress, look into my father's shaving mirror, and just hate myself.
Okay. What? Okay, this is a better question. I don't understand. Is she only dressing up as a man, or did he go a further step like people now that can get surgeries? Let's see.
If you had the chance to use magic, would you change all the way?
What? No. I don't want any magic like that within 10 yards of my body. When I was younger. I don't know. Everyone has silly dreams. In Tevinter, dreams like that get you killed. Bull helped me make a good life. Nice armor and a well-placed sock, and I'm happy.
Nice. The ability to sustain barrier all the time. How do you sustain barrier all the time? I still don't understand why there is a need to... Okay, let's say this, she is behaving like what society expects a man to behave. I would say that. It's true. So she acts like the society would expect a man to behave, but why is there the necessity of calling her a man if she is not a man? It's like saying, for example, that in our own history, that Joan of Arc is not a woman. She's not a woman. A woman commanding armies? No, she's not a woman. A warrior woman? No, that's no woman. That's a man dressed up. Whatever. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I don't like constructionism, or constructivism, as they call it in philosophy. People are what they are. She's a woman that wants to be a soldier, doesn't want to marry. It's a woman that has different life choices. But she's no man. Just like Dorian is no woman. Just because he doesn't want to marry and have sex with women.
How did your family react when you started?
My mother wanted to throw me out. She said if I didn't marry well, I was dooming the family to slavery. She was happy to take the money I set as a soldier, though. Not that it mattered in the end. My father. When I was little, he'd angle his mirror down so I could pretend to shave, just like him. He never said anything, but I think he knew.
Okay.
What's Tevinter like for a citizen? Someone who isn't a slave or a mage?
I'm of the Separati, citizens who aren't mages. Mages are in charge and everyone knows it. But a wealthy merchant can have an easy life. At the low end, people just try to stay out of slavery. My father was a tailor. I joined the army after the Imperial slaves drove him under.
What?
How did slaves drive your family out of business?
My father made shirts, aprons, that kind of thing.
Cheap labor.
One of the magisters had a pet project to prevent the poor from dying of cold in the winter. Nice, right? He had Imperial slaves making simple peasant clothes and selling them for almost nothing. That magister's nice idea put out slave-made clothes at prices my father couldn't match.
Of course. Yeah, look it up. It's called constructionism. It basically says that reality is not fact-based, but interpretation-based. So, for example, male and female do not mean anything other than what a society associates with being male and female. That's what they say. I would, my point of view is realist. A male is someone that is genetically male. A female is something that is genetically female. And a hermaphrodite is what's genetically hermaphrodite. What society thinks a woman or a man should do is irrelevant to the fact that genders are based on biology, not on whatever prevalent idea is around. Okay, Spirit Blade and Fade Shield seem pretty powerful. Come, okay, let me see. I don't know how you could keep barrier. Give me a second. Who would buy those? Extremely poor people. We have the same problem here with Chinese imports of clothing. He had good intentions, that is true. Use slaves to save the poor citizens. But as a Dalish, I think I would have to go with number 2. Because Dalish are usually, or elves are usually slaves in Tevinter.
It's difficult to compete with someone who doesn't get paid.
That's Tevinter. My father sold himself into slavery. He's one of the Servus Publicus, the Imperium-owned slaves now.
Okay.
You said you left Tevinter when they discovered your secret.
Women are allowed to serve, but only in certain ranks and disciplines. I was up for promotion, but the healer I'd bribed to sign off on my physical had to tend to a sick magister. When the replacement healer saw what was or wasn't in my pants, he made threats. It was slavery or death, so I knocked him out and ran.
Good idea. Yes, it is illegal. I would say it's definitely legal in a patriarchal society. A woman passing as a man would undermine the whole system. If for some reason the system gives women less rights than men. Let's find if that is the case in the winter.
It's against the law to pass as a man.
It's a crime to lie on an imperial application for service. Would have been a heavy fine or slavery. 10 silvers, the healer said he'd tell the Tribune I was sick in the head. Some pity for the mad little girl. That was when I hit him. I'd served for a few years. I was good at hitting.
Well, that is much more mundane. Lying on official paperwork, yeah. Okay.
I'm surprised you escaped from the Tevinter Imperium so easily.
It's not like I lived in Minrathous. I was in Trevis, not far from the Navarran border. It helped that I was being chased as a deserter, not a runaway slave. Slave hunters only get paid for what they catch. They're efficient bastards.
Alright.
We'll talk later.
Okay, let's look at the... how can I maintain barrier all the time? Okay, let's say I use Fate Cloak for 2 seconds. How does barrier... a 20-second cooldown. But how much does it last? That's what this doesn't tell me. I think it lasts until... No, I think I would need to micromanage it too much. I could see how it could be done. Let's say the barrier was around for 18 seconds. Then I could use this ability to invulnerable for 2 seconds. And I could spam barrier again. Is that how it works? Alright, no, maybe this one. Any successful attack strengthens your barrier. The more damage you do, the more powerful your barrier grows. Ah, okay. Ah, okay. What do you know? So you use barrier and then attack like a madman. Okay. I can see how that works. Still, that would leave you very vulnerable to dying, in my opinion, and in some cases. What if you get incapacitated? And several enemies are around, you can get killed. I can see how this works. But it would require extreme micromanagement and of the main character. and leaving the rest of them to their own devices. And the tank's always fucking up. Always. But yeah, now I can see. I don't know, it seems risky to me. Because when my character was using the spirit blade, she went into melee combat and got wrecked all the time. And I am not that confident on the abilities of the rest of the party.
Would that I could.
Right. That's why.
I suppose you're right.
Alright, let's talk to Iron Bull.
Come on, Krim. I'm working my ass off trying to get you to see that move.
You still got plenty of arse left, Chief. Your worship.
Glad you came by. I got a letter from my contacts in the Ben Hassrath. Already verified it with Red.
Okay. Now, we already know that Cremisius knows that he is in the Ben Hassrath. And on the minimum wage slavery, there is a difference between no minimum wage and slavery. To some extent, because in slavery, the person doesn't have, well, they could have rights, but they don't have free will. An slave can have rights, but it doesn't have free will. To some extent. Let's say his free will or her free will never supersede that of the slave owner, other than whatever rights. For example, a slave can have a right to life, or not to be maimed, or things like that. That could definitely be included, but it cannot decide what to do, nor to go away. He doesn't have freedom of movement, or things like that. Okay. Minimum wage, or no minimum wage, you could still enter into a consensual relationship between the employer and the employee. Just a bargaining. The problem is that if you have extremely poor people that are going to basically die and prefer anything to nothing, then they could drive the prices down. But on the other hand, you could organize. You could have just like the businessmen can organize to try to drive the cost of labor low. The workers can organize to go the other way. The problem is always that the workers do not have reserves, cash reserves, or to withstand a prolonged strike. That's always been a problem. While the rich people already do, and that's when violence comes into into the picture, sabotages, and what Jimmy Hoffa was so good at. Alright. Now, he was supposed to watch and write, and Leliana was supposed to read those letters and make sure he didn't write anything strange. So,
What did the letter say?
The Ben Hassrath have been reading my reports. They don't like Corypheus or his Venatori.
obviously.
And they really don't like Red Lyrium. They're ready to work with us. With you, boss. The Qunari and the Inquisition joining forces.
You know what? I'm in. 100% in. Collective bargaining. Well, I wouldn't call it the enemy of capitalism. What we were talking about with Parker yesterday of corporatism, yes. Of that extreme version of capitalism, yes. Any kind of organization that gives employees bargaining power would definitely be an enemy of that extreme version of capitalism. Of capitalism in general, no. Not really. Not of anarcho-capitalism, for example. Or the libertarian versions of capitalism.
That could be a powerful alliance.
My people have never made a full-blown alliance with a foreign power before. This would be a big step.
Yes.
They found a massive red lyrium shipping operation out on the coast.
They wanted us to hit it together. Talked about bringing in one of their dreadnoughts. Always wanted to see one of those big warships in action.
Did you see that? Go get some water.
What?
They're worried about tipping the smugglers, so no army. My chargers, you, maybe some backup.
Yeah, why am I aligned with the Qunari? The Qunari are the enemies of the Inter-Imperium. That's a big plus. The Qunari are the enemies of the Chantry. That's 2 pluses on my on my scorecard. The Qunari are not opposed to the Dalish, although they are extreme fanatics. And certainly a war between the Dalish, the resurgent Dalish and the Qunari, it's inevitable. But we need to break the Inter first and the Chantry first. And certainly the humans in the free marshes will side with us, the Herald of Andrast, instead of the demon-looking Qunari. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
What does this alliance really get us?
They wouldn't use the word alliance if they didn't mean it. Naval power. More Ben Hassrath reports. Qunari soldiers pointed at the Venatori. It could do a lot of good.
You don't seem entirely happy about this.
No, I'm good. It's... I'm used to them being over there. It's been a while.
Aha! I fucking knew it! He has second thoughts. This guy is no Qunari, for all his bravado and boasting. He doesn't like the Qunari way anymore. He has tasted freedom and he loves it.
I thought the Qunari wanted to extend their reach to the whole world.
Yeah, just didn't think I'd see it. Look, the Qun answers a lot of questions. It's a good life for a lot of people. But it's a big change. And a lot of folks here wouldn't do so well under that kind of life.
Like you.
I guess it's not like we're converting. This is just us joining forces against Corypheus. On that front, I think we're good.
Alright, let's do this.
I think the Inquisition could use some help from the Qunari.
Good. I'll pass on word to Cullen and Red. We can set up the meeting whenever you're ready.
Is Red Liliana? Well, this is not going to make Cassandra happy. Alright. Let's avoid conversations with them. Ah, yeah, mages, apostate mages, Qunari. This is turning out to be great. talk to Blackwall now.
Heard you found something that had to do with wardens.
I wish I was there.
Would have liked to have seen it.
I'm a big baby. I'm a big baby.
Nothing right now. Perhaps in a bit.
I wanted to be there. Okay, nothing it seems. Then let's start doing side quests. Or Sola says that finding an amulet of the Unbound will prevent divinatory mages. Okay, I think this is one that I cannot do. The Hassrath have offered an alliance. Accompany Bull and his chargers to meet their contact in the Storm Coast. You know what? Let's do that. Give me a second, please.